Welcome, everybody, to your Seven Square podcast, where we interview the most successful CEOs and bring you only the practical and applicable steps into growing and scaling your business. Today, I have with me, I would consider a great friend, but also a mentor in the business, Mr. Bryan Arzani. Bryan, how's it going today?
Tyrus, man, it is so good to hear your voice and see your face. I am great.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And so, Bryan, for the people who don't know you, can you give me an introduction and give us an introduction of who you are and what you do?
I struggle to always talk about myself because I jokingly self-deprecate from the stage. One time I got done, this guy came up to me, he goes, "Hey, you need to be nicer to yourself." And I said, "Dude, I'm trying," because sometimes you carry a little bit too much out there and you got to lower it down. But honestly, I'm the grandson of a pig farmer who never let a door go by that I didn't open up. Before I got married, I had 5 jobs to put that 1 carat diamond on my wife's finger. And I have never, ever, ever been mistaken for not wanting to be the hardest working guy in the room, not the smartest. So for the last 21 years, man, I've been in the talent development, assessment, succession planning world, learning everything I ever could do. I never thought I would ever do this work either, Tyrus. It's like, I was just the marketing guy, and we sold a huge deal to a large company that said, "We want Bryan to be our consultant." And that threw me into this business. And to this day, I'm still humbled and honored and blessed and beyond grateful. And I pray that I can have 2 more days to do what I love. And I've figured out how to get paid to do it. But we started the Results Group 16 years ago, a talent assessment development, bridging the gap between talent and performance and execution. We now have the right system instruments in North America that Innermetrix provides. I'm the president of Innermetrix North America. We certify, train, and support consultants all over the world, but principally in North America. And then we have our own clients here in Iowa that we get a chance to do the work, because I don't like just talking about the work. I love to do the work. I'm the dad of 4 kids. I got a daughter that's 27, a son that's 20, almost 25, a son that's 23, and a son that's 21, and a wife that has just got enough patience to put up with a goofball solopreneur that never does the same thing 2 days in a row. So yeah, man, I love you. You've got the passion, the fire, the desire to do things that nobody else is willing to do. And just being around you feeds me. So I'm going to shut up and give it back to you.
I love it. And Bryan, that's what drew me to you more so than anybody else, because you don't just talk about the theory, you talk about the practicality of it. How do you do it? It's people love to tell somebody, well, you should do this, you should think about this, here's a couple of ways you can do it. But then you actually deep dive down into how do you do it? How do you take those next steps? And the name of your company, the Results Group, just speaks to that. And so, Bryan, what we like to do here is ask just a question and then get a response that tells people how you did it. So the question for you, Bryan, is in your business over the 21 years, what is a major obstacle that you faced in business, and how did you overcome it?
Dude, it's funny. Most people that come on interviews like this get a lot of time to prep for the question. I love the fact that you literally just blew the question at me. I got goosebumps, man. I'm like, I'm getting put on the spot. I don't get put on the spot very often. The biggest obstacle, what's crazy is the biggest obstacle was my preconceived notions about what a true consulting business could and should be. And so I went out and I tried to follow the models of everybody else that was out there that did project-based work. And the biggest obstacle that I ever was blessed to be able to go into, and, I remember writing and journaling in 2006, 2007, saying, man, how do I get out of this peak and valley of having, a big client, 6-figure deal, but I don't want them. I wanted to have the deals that would give me the ability to serve them over long periods of time, because change is not an event, it's a process. But consulting practices bill and charge based on the project. And so they say sell change, but they don't. And so for us, it was tearing down and literally viscerally ripping that out to say, what should it be and what's the right thing to do? And so we went back out and went with the subscription model and said, look, let's get clients to assign, 1 year, 2 year, 3-year retainer relationships to truly bring change. And that meant we had to grow up. We had to re-envision what it meant to serve, and to stop thinking of doing what we do in terms of dollars per hour or hours. I mean, here's the thing. who invented time, right? I mean, 365 days. What is that, right? And the days of the week. Why don't we have 30 days in a week? And I mean, so we went to this place of like this open void and said, what could it be if we didn't have any parameters? But when you say that, you still got the parameters because that's how the human mind works. Right. So we went to we got out of our way and gave up the big contracts and went to more of a retainer model, so that we went from having great, cash in the bank to not as much for a period of time. So we kind of had to juggle those two, where we kept the oxygen to feed the business while we were ramping up this other model that we believed in. But we're hoping, right? I mean, we didn't borrow a dime to start this place. We bootstrapped everything we've ever done. We funded it through our existing clients and business. And I didn't come from money. My dad was in the Navy and worked at Firestone, was a paramedic, and my mom cut hair. So I didn't come from money. I never knew what it was like to be I never had a model. Nobody told me how to be an entrepreneur. Nobody told me how to own a company. And so the biggest obstacle was myself. And I know that sounds cliche, but myself was meaning what I believed the business could be. And we really had to go back and say, well, what would the market want? Because the market is what's buying, but the market didn't know what questions to ask because it was following a model that was created by consultants that didn't have a model to follow to begin with. And every consultant complains about the same thing. Man, feast and famine. We got a big deal. We work on killing the deal, closing the deal, working the deal. And then we go hungry for 6 months, 12 months, trying to find a new client. And so we dreamed, 10 sizes too big. Because I started saying, man, what if I had 1,000 clients that would give me $100 a month? Like, ooh, yeah. And then I started saying, what if I had 100 clients give me $1,000 a month, right? Oh, but then how do I? So yeah, that was the biggest obstacle. I mean, we already had subscribed to the model of saying, I'm going to only do the things I'm naturally built to do and earn the right to pay people to do the things I suck at, which is our genius process. And we teach live, eat, breathe, sleep that. And the only reason we teach live, eat, breathe, sleep is because that's what we do. I mean, it just makes sense. So yeah, that was the biggest thing was reinventing, rethinking about the market. And we literally created a space. So when people ask us who our competitors are, I don't have a competitor. I really don't. I'm not saying that out of ego, because at the end of the day, they buy us. And what do they buy from us? They buy what they genuinely need and want. And sometimes it's just having the right individual on the other side of the table to walk that client through what do they really want, not based on their paradigm, but based on the true objective needs of the talent, the business, and that takes a lot of maturity, and it takes a lot of confidence and belief, because there's sometimes I'm going to be sitting across from somebody and what they need and want right now isn't what I have. And maybe they'll be ready in a year. And man, I tell you what, that's a gut moment when you look at them and say, you're about a year away from really, truly needing to engage with me. Can I recommend somebody else? And they'll come in and they'll get some foundational things taken care of, and then I'm going to come back. And that's been a lot of time. So yeah, man, I mean, and yeah, having a great spouse who stuck with us through the thin, man. We had 4 kids. Life was brutal, man. You go to a pawn shop and buy Christmas presents because you have to, not because you want to, man. I tell you what, and then you're sitting across from a client and you're talking business, and then you look at them and say, it's not the right time. But here's what I know. You do right for the people, for the right reasons. And you have that grit, grind, and grunt. It'll all come around. But man, there's times where I felt hopeless. I'm not going to lie, dude. There's some times I remember sitting in a hallway, kind of almost in the sitting fetal position with my hands around my knees going, Lord, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Right. I'm not saying that just because I'm on this interview, dude. I mean, there's those moments, and it's, yeah. So we just had to rethink, get out of our own way, Tyrus.
I love that. And that's what a lot of people mistake when they get into business, because you hear success leaves clues, follow the blueprint, the model. But a lot of individuals follow broken models or models that don't work for them, and they try to fit themselves into that specific model that may not be the one. So I love the way you figured out, hey, charging by the project doesn't work for me. Let me go back, let me reinvent, let me think about it. And then another piece that I don't want people to slide right by is passing up on opportunity that could have been opportunity for you, but that wasn't the right time for them. And so that takes a lot of guts, especially
Oh,
if you're looking at a bank account that's a little low and you're like, well, I can close this deal, I can move forward. But then you realize that, hey, this doesn't work for them. And I think for a lot of coaches and consultants specifically, that goes back to staying in your lane. If you say you
yeah.
do a certain thing, don't just take business in another area just because it's business. So that's really good, Bryan. And to that, I want a bonus question from you. Usually we cut it off right here, right now, but since I got you, I want to hold you. Bonus question. A lot of times as coaches, consultants, and even in other businesses, when you sitting across from a decision maker and you're selling them on what you're bringing, what you offer, a lot of times they bring back that question, well, why you? How do you know you can fit or solve my problem? How do you know that you're the right fit for our organization? Can you really do this for us? And I know we've talked about this before. What guarantees can you give me that you can make it work? How do you address that, Bryan?
I'll tell you this right now. I used to jump on the stove and dance like a chicken. That's my analogy, right? I'm like, woo, and I do all that stuff. And what I realized really quick was the truth is the truth, right? And I love this question because it's got me going in like 10,000 different directions that I want to talk about. But when I actually had a company one time said they'd met with 2 other consulting practices, and then they met with us, and they had one more to meet with after us. And one was a Stephen Covey deal, one was a Dale Carnegie, one was an action coach. And we were the third. And they said, why you? And I said, well, before you want me to tell you why me, you need to understand, how do you guys decide who gets to this table? How do you decide who you're going to meet with to consider if they can solve your problem? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, how did I get here? And then they go, well, we called you references, we vetted, we did this, and somebody recommended you. And I said, well, what did they say when they recommended me? And they said, well, Bryan, what would I do? I said, so what would I say that would be any better than that? And then they're like, well, but here's what I tell them. I say, you know what? I don't really know if I'm the right person for you. I don't. Because here's what we got. We can't go like from just talking to full-blown married. We got to date, right? We got to kind of maybe see how the other person is. And so I don't know if I'm going to like you, because if I'm not passionate about you and what you do, and I don't believe in your president, if your president is weak and they think that it's for thee, not me, I'm out. I am out. I don't give a crap. How much money you got. If your senior executives aren't all in, I'm out. So let me ask you, are you in? Because if you're in and you're going to be a part of this, then we might actually go from just considering to dating. Okay. But again, you're not going to know up front, and you're not going to know. And maybe let's do something small. Let's get some relationship thing going, and let me do something. And if you don't say, wow, then I'm the wrong guy. But what I'll tell you right now is we will have enough dialogue to find an objective way to diagnose the subjectivity of what's going on and help explore what, why, and how. And then we'll determine if I'm the right execution relationship for you. Because I got clients that use this, use that, but at the end of the day, it's about results, and it's about partnering. It's about trust. Because if you can't see yourself working with me in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, then I'm the wrong one. Now, how do I guarantee results? Here's what I'm going to tell you right now. I don't even know if your team can execute, right? What if y'all are performing and you don't even know why you're performing at the level you're performing, and the market takes a change, it takes a dip, and then your numbers take a dip? Let me ask you this. Are you up from the last year? And they say, well, yeah, I'm up. What are you up? They say, I'm 17% up. I'm like, okay, what's your industry? Where's it at? Is it up this year or is it down? Oh, it's up. How much? 20%. So you're down 3%. You think you're up. You're not up. You're down 3. Come on, right? I mean, I sit back and go, dude, what if your team isn't strong enough to execute on the stuff I tell them? So I actually say, we got a diagnostic process to figure out the capacity and horsepower y'all got. Because if you're doing 75 miles an hour and you got a 3-cylinder, 30-horse motor, you're at capacity. Mm-hmm. Now, at the end of the day, here's what I'll tell you right now. Ain't one client on the plant that's going to give you credit as a consultant for the work you're going to do. Not one, okay? I bought that Kool-Aid, I drank it, and I got screwed over big time several times because I'm like, dude, they're going to love me and they're going to give me credit. They will blame it on the economy. They'll blame it on an account. They'll blame it on a market. They'll blame it on like serendipitous star fell from the sky and gave them a $500,000 deal. I don't care what it is. So I check my ego at the door and say, you know what? Here's what's going to happen. I hope you don't give me credit for the success you got. I hope you give it to your people. Because if it's about me, then you know what? You're picking the wrong partner. You got to look at your team and go, how do I make sure I create sustainability deep into the roots of my foundation of my organization? And can you build sustainability in my people, make them faster, bigger, stronger? Can you do that for me, Arzani? I can do that. Or I can tell you this person's maxed out. And then through them, we will get results. That's where it's at. If you need me to be the rah-rah, kumbaya, trust fall guy, you're looking for the wrong partner. Go hire Carnegie or Action Coach, something like that. No offense, but here's what the deal is. I've been around long enough to know, you give me 2, 3, 4 years, and I'm going to build something cool that will be there for a long time, and you'll have a brick wall that's going to live for centuries to come. If you need immediate, fast change, then you know what? I ain't your guy. I don't make decisions off of quarters. I don't sell off part of a portfolio so I can generate a profit. Wow. I will create sustainability so that, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to come, maybe my name ain't no part of your organization no more, but you got 3 leaders who were emerging at the time nobody knew, and maybe they've made it. And you had preconceived paradigms because of something that you looked at them and thought, nah, they'll never make it, maybe because of education or background or how you perceive them. And I helped ignite and create the unraveling of a diamond that could literally focus the static electricity into an energy that could cut through your market and make a difference. That's what I do. So you know what? I don't know if it's me. I don't know. I don't know if you're strong enough to handle it. And I don't know if I'm going to love what you do. And I know I'm being a little bit theatrical on stage, but at the end of the day, that's my heart. That's my attitude. Now, I'm not going to lie. 20 years ago, I'd lick the pavement to get a deal. Okay. 10 years ago, I was still like, right. But deep down, you got to kind of evolve and move into it. So I hope I answered your question. I hope the folks who are listening to this can, maybe take one nugget from that, Tyrus. But man, you're that way. You are that way, man. So I love talking to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You dropped a lot of nuggets in there. And what I want people to take away is you don't let them put it all on you. You put the work back on them, because at the end of the day, like you told me before, the thing about cleaning out a closet or something, you pass by that closet every day, but if you shine a flashlight in it, you see something different. So as a consultant, you're just bringing in that light to those blind spots, but it's still up to them to do the work. And they can't just lay it on you as, well, it didn't work, it must have been Bryan's fault. No, did your people have the right capacity? So understanding the capacity of the team, and what you do with the assessments and the instruments is to bring that clarity around the subjectivity that they have, so you can create a objectivity or objective viewpoint. So you definitely answered that question. I want all consultants, coaches, anybody that's serving somebody else to take that note. You have to look at the objective view and not the subjective. And how do you do that? Use some type of sort of instrument. Innermetrix is great for them. I utilize them. And so that is where we're going to leave you guys. Bryan, thank you for coming on today. I know you're a busy man, very, very high level, very important, my mentor. I just appreciate everything you do and the value that you add. Any last words for the people?
Nah, Tyrus, I appreciate the opportunity to get surprised and be put, get some adrenaline going, man. I like it. I pray for your business. I pray for all those that are watching this, man. It's a grind. And you know what? There's fewer and fewer people like the people that are watching this right now, and like you on the planet today, because we're kind of like divergence right now, right? We're stepping out saying, dude, there's light and there's opportunity and there's hope. And so whether you're getting paid for it or not, be that light, be that hope right now, and just bring love and understanding to those around you. And that's what we do. Because, if you're attractive, you will attract attractive opportunities. And so that's kind of what we got to be able to do right now, while still having that fire in the belly and the grit, grind, and grunt to just be out there doing it. Because it's hard. It's hard freaking business, man. I don't care if I'm rolling today. Tomorrow I could be grinding and ready to lick the pavement again. But, that's just perspective. So thank you so much, Tyrus.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all. We held you a little bit over the 15-minute mark, but we gave you some great content to go and consume and to utilize it, apply it, and go get results. So thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.